Well, hello everybody. Welcome to our live stream today. We're just going to give it about 30 seconds to a minute for more people to join on. Make sure you're comfortable, you've got a cup of tea. This session's going to last about 30 minutes to 45 minutes. So you're very welcome to stay with us for the whole time, and then you can go and grab some lunch afterwards. Now, do feel free to write any comments during the session for us on YouTube. So, send us what you're thinking about, some of your experiences. If you've got any questions, put them in the chat and I'll be able to come on and answer them at the end. So maybe about 30 more seconds. We'll just wait for a few more people to join and then we'll kick off. Tell us where you're coming from. I know this is our first English-speaking GNI Live, so I'm sure we'll have people from around the world, which is fantastic. This is an event that's going to be taking place. It started last week. It's over the next 11 weeks. So hopefully you guys can join us today and schedule more sessions in with us. Okay, let's kick off. So welcome, everybody. You are watching the Google News Lab GNI Lives. So for those of you that don't know the Google News Lab or haven't worked with us before, we're essentially a team that work within the Google News Initiative. And the broader aim of the Google News Initiative is to work and collaborate with journalists to drive innovation in news. And we do that in several different ways, but we're very excited to run this event for you, which is free and available on YouTube so that you can watch it over and over again. And our aim is to provide you with resources so that you can find, verify, and tell stories online. Okay, so our aim is to basically reach as many journalists as possible to help you in your work and to help you in the investigations that you're working on. So today's session is all about COVID-19 resources. Now, over the next few weeks, we will be covering a variety of different topics, from freelance tools and tips to investigations. We're also going to be talking about visualization, mapping, analytics. And then at the end, we're going to have a verification challenge, okay? So it's super, super exciting. Definitely stay with us for all of the sessions. You can schedule them in advance, put them in your diaries, because we're really excited to be here with you guys. So I already mentioned the Google News Lab is part of the Google News Initiative. And here at the Google News Initiative, our aim is to basically build a stronger future for journalism. We believe that quality journalism matters. We believe that collaboration is the key to both of our success, to mutual success there. So we work on the premise of these 3 E's, okay? So my section here at the Google News Lab is to elevate and strengthen quality journalism. And the other side of the work of the Google News Initiative is to collaborate with journalists, to build products, to support different programs. So we really are trying to tackle the industry from a variety of different areas and in different directions so that we can help the journalism industry as much as possible and work together. So the first thing that I would like to draw your attention to today is the Google Journalist Studio. Now, the Google Journalist Studio, if you haven't seen it already, is essentially a collection of tools and resources that we have online that we think that will help you in your jobs, whether you're looking to find information, to verify information, to debunk those claims online, whether you're looking to visualize data and tell stories more effectively and more creatively. We have the Google Journalist Studio that you can access at any time, and it has a range of tools on there that you can click onto and then you can access direct to the tool from our website. So do check that out. It's probably unlikely that you've played with all of those tools, so if there's some in there that you haven't seen before, do please have a look. And we offer training on all of these individual tools ourselves, either in newsrooms around the world within the Google News Lab or on our website. So you can head there, g.co/news training, where you can have individual tuition that you can download and do in your own time with PDF resources that you can do on any of the individual tools, okay? There are teaching fellows, amazing journalists around the world that work with newsrooms to provide live training. It's online at the moment. Hopefully soon it will be in person. So do get in touch if you would like to use any of these tools or if you would like further training from our team. Okay, so for this session today, it's all about COVID-19 and the resources that are available to you guys as reporters so that you can report on this issue more effectively. So whether you're sourcing accurate information, or you're looking for reliable fact checks, or you're looking at how to submit queries to experts, we're going to be running through some of those tools today that will help you in your work. I mean, it really has been, a year like no other. I mean, this has really shook the year, that term unprecedented that we've heard so many times before. And, the onslaught of coronavirus really has forced journalists just to step up and tell this story from a variety of different ways, and report on this global story as an ever-changing narrative. It's completely changing all the time, and we have to keep up with that. We've seen some amazing data visualizations that have been taking place from data journalism teams, and also teams that have been using tools such as Flourish to basically tell these amazing animations and help our audiences to understand the story, whether that's from how the virus has been spreading to, the vaccine rollout, to how people are more susceptible to it than others. So you can see here, there's a range of examples I'm going to show you. The first one here, this is from BBC News. They looked at the range of coronavirus cases and deaths around the world. You can see here they've got a projection map that they're using. This is done within the tool Flourish, which you'll find on our website. And you've got The Economist here. They're tracking the pandemic using a bar chart race. So we're seeing how this pandemic is evolving, how the virus is spreading throughout different countries around the world. And there are a range of different visualizations that we've seen journalists do as well. Sky News here, they're using a population pyramid. Now, population pyramids, as you can see, we can look at the difference in the ages between two different countries and see what the population is like in these different areas. It's just a fun, engaging way of showing information, just like a photo slider is that you can see here on Flourish. So there are so many different exciting ways that journalists are tackling information and trying to engage audiences in a variety of different ways. Of course, we've also seen journalists tell the story through visual images to put our human faces behind this story. So, it really is the story of the year. We've seen so many amazing articles, so many amazing pieces of coverage based around this story. Now, obviously, technology and social media plays a huge role in that because it enables us to connect to audiences much quicker. But I guess the downside of that is that false information can also spread so much quicker now. Through word of mouth is one thing, but by sharing a tweet, by sharing information, a Facebook post, a video that's been uploaded online, we can share, bad information that's not true very, very quickly. And these falsehoods have really changed over time throughout the pandemic. We've seen initially how it spread. We saw the coronavirus, where is it coming from? And then we looked at, how can we prevent it? Then we looked at the cures available, and we've got the vaccine rollout now. So there's so many different pieces of information that can be shared online. A lot of them can be untrue. And you can see some examples on screen here. Tanks are arriving on the streets and helicopters are spraying disinfectant in the middle of the night. There's a giant lasagna in Wembley Stadium, which you would not believe it. You kind of had to be there to believe it. This was a rumor that was spread around by a young man, and he posted it online, and all of a sudden everybody was believing that there was going to be helicopters dropping pieces of lasagna to people's houses. Now, that might seem like that's not believable, but in fact people did believe it. So these pieces of information that you might believe, some of them might be more likely than others. We really need to be careful when we're reporting on them, when we're looking at any type of information online. Now, we can see an example here, which some of you might have seen on Twitter, of some misinformation that was spread out. You can see here the image on the left. This is from a Twitter post from a senior Chinese government official. Now, this was posted on March 15th, 2020, and it claims that Italians in Rome were singing Grazie China to say thank you so much for sending medical supplies and experts to our country during this COVID-19 pandemic. I'm going to show you that video of the footage that was posted out so you can have a little listen for yourself. So you can hear that kind of grazie China, that's clearly like overdubbed. The sound is muffled, but that is a piece of content that's been published online by an official spokesperson. Okay, so that information can be very quickly spread. You can see I think it had 247,000 different views, from that one tweet. I'm going to show you the original footage, which was dubbed and it was manipulated. Okay, so you can hear there that the original audio from that video is so much clearer. Those images are different. They've been completely manipulated. The audio is being manipulated there. And when it is posted by someone in a position of authority, people obviously will tend to believe that more. So it's really, really important with any information that we see online, whether that's posted by anybody, whether it's well-meaning or not, we need to be taking everything with a pinch of salt and really looking into all of the so-called facts that are spread about online. Okay, so for a story like coronavirus, fact checking is not just important for journalists, but it's also a matter of public health. The spread of misinformation, disinformation, malinformation, which we're going to get to in a second, it's critical in tackling and slowing the spread of the virus. Okay, so let's just have a think. What's the difference between these three things? Misinformation, malinformation, and disinformation. Can you guys write in the comments? I know there's some of you online that are here watching. Now, there's about a 30-second delay, so I might not see it in real time, but do let me know if you know, because, it's not just, the general public get these things mixed up as well. It can also be journalists that are working within the industry that just need to know the difference between these three definitions. Well, the first one that I'm going to talk about is misinformation. So first of all, misinformation, obviously, it's one of the biggest issues within coronavirus, especially at the beginning of the pandemic. This is information that's false, it's completely untrue, but the person who is spreading this information about, so disseminating it to their friends, their family, it could be from a very well-meaning place, they believe it to be true, okay? So the information is false, but the person who's spreading it believes it to be true. The next word is disinformation. So disinformation, on the other hand, is information that is false, it's not true, but the person who is spreading this information, they know it's not true. It's a deliberate and it's an intentional lie, okay? So it's probably spread to cause harm, to cause confusion, okay? So they know why they're spreading it, but they also know that that fact is not true. And thirdly, we've got malinformation. So malinformation is genuine, true information. It's a fact, but it has been spread deliberately to cause harm, okay? So that could be private, revealing information that could harm a person or their reputation, okay? So that has been spread purely for that reason. So, it's really important that we recognize the difference between these three words, that we as journalists are not just recognizing it for ourselves, but we're also educating the public in these three types of information that can be spread around. Because by enabling our audience to understand these methods, we're also enabling them and empowering them to be able to tackle this information straight away, okay? So when they see it, so for them to think before they share. So there's been some different initiatives that are enabling audiences to understand a little bit more. The first one I'm going to show you is a game called Go Viral. Now, Go Viral, it was an initiative from the UK government, and we can see here that it's a game that audiences play and they see how posts are manipulated to be more popular with audiences. So I'm just going to jump into the game so you guys can see what it looks like. So it's called Go Viral, and an audience member will click to start. And you'll see here that there's lots of different types of people that are spreading on social media. So the first one said the fear mongerer. So I can basically click lots of different options to play this game and see, okay, I'm going to pick my own avatar. And okay, I'll be Joel for this demonstration. And you can see some information about social media is being fed to me as I'm playing the game, okay? So I can look at different posts that have been posted out and I can see, okay, do I want to post this on social media or do I want to skip it? Okay, that one wasn't the key to influence of fame. Maybe I need to be a bit more eccentric with my posts. So you can see here why you would respond to certain pieces of information on social media in a certain way. And I feel like this helps audiences to see whether a piece of information is necessarily credible and true, or whether it's just being posted to encourage excitement, okay, within audiences so that they'll share it. So it's really important for audiences to understand that as well, and to see, you know, some of the strategies that are used when things are posted and they're misleading. Okay, so we're going to talk now about some resources that you guys can use straight away after this session to look at articles that have been debunked online, to see experts that you can talk to ask information. If you are reporting on COVID-19, especially the vaccine rollout, there are lots of different resources that you can get stuck into, okay? So, you know, we are really kind of taken back into a world where the unknown is there. Rumors can spread, especially with every update of this story, okay? So it's really, really important that you build a verification workflow for yourself, get familiar with some of the tools, get comfortable with them, and see how they can be used in relation to each other as well for what works for you, okay? Because if you can develop a workflow for yourself, it will enable you to get to the point much quicker and to verify information and move on, okay? So the first tool I'm going to tell you about is our own, okay? So if you go to g.co/fact check tools, you will have access there to our own Fact Check Explorer. So the Fact Check Explorer is there. It's one of the quickest ways of essentially seeing the world's fact checks in one place. This is Google's attempts to do this. So articles and facts that have been debunked and already fact checked for you without the need of you having to go and investigate yourself. If you go onto the Fact Check Explorer, you can search by topic or publication, and you'll see all the fact checks that have been done in relation to that. So if I show you what it looks like once you go into the Fact Check Explorer, so it's super easy to use. It's just a search bar and you type in your topic or person. So let's say here, I'm reporting on the COVID-19 vaccine. You can see it appears down there in my search results. And I can see all the most recent fact-checked articles that have been posted, okay? So different claims by people on social media or around the internet that have been debunked by different publications. So I can see here on the right-hand side, okay, will there be a chip inside the vaccine? This is an article from Pointer and we give it a rating, okay? So Pointer will submit it for a rating and you'll be able to see that here. So that fact, that piece of information needs context. This claim is misleading. So you can go through and have a look at them. Now, if there's a certain piece of information that you want to delve deeper into, you can click on this link here. So does the vaccine cause infertility or not? So I can click there onto Boom Live. And I can read an article from Boom Live that tells me, okay, no, it does not cause infertility, and we're going to debunk it and show you how we've come to that decision, okay? So it's a really great way to basically find out information without you having to do all of the work there yourself. You can also search by language as well. So obviously I'm here in English, but you can choose to change the language, or you can choose to change the URL here. So if I wanted French, I would just change EN to FR at the end there, and then now I will see the articles in French. Okay, so that's the Fact Check Explorer. It's definitely worth checking out. It's kind of like a #1 resource you should be going to if you have your piece of information you want to see whether it's already been debunked. It will save you tons of time and it's really, really easy to use. Okay, so our next database is from Pointer. Now, Pointer, they've got an amazing database full of fact-checked articles that have been published around the world. So there's over 70 different countries that have all submitted all of their articles to this database. It's in more than 40 languages. There's over 9,000 fact checks. And these basically fact checkers that are working all over the world to bring all of these different topics together. So again, if I jump in and show you what that looks like on the front side. So you can see the front of the database here. I can scroll down and I can either search for a topic, I can select my country, select the rating, so whether it's false context, false headline, for example. I can change the publication that it's been fact-checked by, or I can scroll down here and I can see either the oldest or the newest fact checks that have been published here on the website, okay? And then when I'm happy, and I've seen one that I'm interested in, so let's say here, World Health Organization approved, okay, so let's click in, and we can see a little summary of that fact-checked article. And if I want to read the full thing, I will just click in and I'll be taken directly to that article that has already debunked one of the claims online, okay? So heading over to the pointer database as well will give you access to a range of lots of different articles that have been published around the world, okay? So having that in your mind is a really fantastic resource that you can get started with as well. Now, the team at Full Fact, they're a team of independent fact checkers and campaigners. They've got a whole section on coronavirus on their website. So it's called Full Fact Coronavirus. Now, the team there, they really are fighting, bad, false information in a variety of ways, from fact checking different claims made by politicians, public institutes, and on social media, of course. They're also asking people to correct things when they get things wrong on record. They're developing tech and new research to spot repeated claims. And they're also campaigning as well for change to make, this harmful information, less harmful in society. Okay, so this is the Full Fact Coronavirus webpage, and you can see it if I click here. And if you just fullfact.org, and you can scroll down, and you can see here, it's split into 3 sections. So coronavirus, Brexit, vaccine. So let's say I go into coronavirus in this example. So you can scroll down and you can filter all of their articles by all of these subcategories here. Or you can scroll down and see some of the top articles. So how you can fact check claims against coronavirus, lots of different topics. And then, okay, let's say if I want to go into the vaccine section, I will see all the fact checks that the team at Full Fact have done. And if I click into them, so people giving COVID-19 vaccines won't be tried as war criminals. I can tap into that and you can see the claim and the verdict on that claim within the article on fullfact.org, okay? So you can read an article about it. We'll send you links to other help and information to give you more details and context around that fact check. Okay, so those are your 3 tools that you want to be using straight away. So using the Google Fact Check Explorer and Pointer and Full Fact. But of course, there are some times where you might think, okay, I want to ask the experts some questions. I want to, go straight to scientists myself and ask them. So there are some places where you can do that. So the first one is called Learn About COVID-19.org. Okay, so if you head over to this website, you can basically ask some of the experts questions yourself. Okay, so you can see here, this is what it will look like if you're going to the tool. It's essentially a collaboration between experts and journalists and fact checkers. So if you have a question for a medical expert or a scientist, you can just go on there and you can see you can access all of these experts around the world that will aim to get answers to you as quickly as possible. Okay, so, if one of the questions hasn't been answered on the site, you can submit a question. But most of the time, you'll probably see that actually there's a whole range of questions that have already been asked that you can access straight away. So it looks a little bit like this. Once you're in it, you can either search what you're looking for, or you can go down and find a question to ask and read about. Okay, so that's Learn About COVID-19. Now, also in Learn About COVID-19, they've developed the COVID-19 Vaccine Media Hub. Okay, so this is an area which is essentially a global resource for journalists and fact checkers where you can find the latest scientific information, expert opinion, and research on the COVID-19 vaccines. So imagine it to be kind of like a news feed of all of these expert articles that have been written about science, about COVID-19 vaccine. Okay, so it's all kind of in one place. That's what it's designed to be there for. Or of course, you can ask the experts on the other side of the tool as well. Okay, so there is also another place you could go, which is sciencemediacentre.org. Now, obviously, scientists and the media, they're aiming to build their relationship between the two different areas, because I've put a little quote here, which I think kind of sums the importance of it up. You know, the media will do science better when scientists do the media better. So this is a website that's aiming to improve the relationship between scientists and experts. So it's enabling scientists to basically pass information on to journalists as quickly as possible when a news story breaks. Okay, so as much accurate information as they can as quickly as possible. So you'll see on the website, if you go on there, if there's been a change to a vaccine or information that's been published in the news that's based on the science, you'll see quotes and information and analysis and articles that you can access straight away as a reporter. So it's a really useful tool if you want information much quicker. The next tool I'm going to draw attention to is Google Trends. Google Trends is an amazing tool from Google, which you may or may not have already played with. It's basically a way that you can see what the public are talking about. So what is your audience interested in? It will show you what people are searching for in Google on a variety of destinations around the world. Okay, so I'm going to jump into Google Trends to show you what that looks like. So this is the front end of Google Trends. We can either search for a term or a topic within the search bar. So for example, if I wanted to, I could search for COVID-19 and it will come up with all different search terms it would recommend for that. Now I can either click on the COVID-19 vaccine here, or I can scroll down, and the Google Trends team, they've already put together information on some of the most searched topics here in the UK. You can see I'm at the UK here on the top right. If you are watching us from a different country today, you can scroll down and see another country's information there. But for now, we're going to stick in the UK. So you can see here there's a range of articles around coronavirus and information and graphics and data that you guys can use within your articles and to add context to what you're reporting on. Okay, so I can click into here, and you can see here now that the Google Trends team have already developed, graphics and charts that will enable you to get more information about what people are interested in searching for on Google. So we can see here, search interest in lockdown worldwide past week. Okay, so we can scroll over and use that. Or we could see the trending COVID variant questions. Let's just make this a little bit bigger so you guys can see. Trending UK searches on the coronavirus. We can see the interest levels on the different COVID variants here. So you can see over time how interested people are when they're searching on Google to do with the UK, Brazilian and South African variant. And you can break this down by regions within the UK as well. So areas and cities. And we can just see information surrounding this topic. Okay, so if you are reporting on the COVID-19 vaccine, definitely head over to Google Trends. There's so much information on there that you can pick out, you can use, you can investigate and research further. Also, you can share this information or you can embed it within your own websites as well. So you can see here, COVID vaccine trends over the past week. You can see these are the most talked about topics there. And if you just keep going down, you can see, okay, this is what people are searching for during the pandemic. So that could be a story in itself, okay? So there's so much information that you can gather from this. You can also download the data as well and visualize it within a visualization tool like Flourish Studio, which you will find on our website of how to use that. Range of information that you guys can jump into and use straight away. Now, another resource is the COVID-19 Community Mobility Reports. So if you jump into this, basically, essentially, you'll be able to download data to see how the community is moving about due to COVID-19, okay? So due to the response of, let's say, new lockdown levels, or as the economy changes, as people move around due to COVID-19, they'll give you an insight into how the response has been in different areas of the world. Now, I must emphasize that these are anonymized insights, okay? So you won't be able to get detailed information of individuals, of course, but you can download mobility reports directly to your computer, okay? So if you want to download, let's say, a CSV file, you can then go and visualize that within a story. And you can see here, I can search by countries or regions, and I can break it down by location. So there's tons of information that you can get freely available online, okay? Regardless of the angle of your story or what section of coronavirus or the coronavirus vaccine you're looking at, there's so much information that you can take advantage of online. Make sure you head over to our website, so g.co/news training. As I mentioned before, there are lots of different courses that you can take within your own time. They're PDF versions, so you can click into them, you can have the tool open on your computer, and you can learn as you go, okay? So I'd really recommend just spending a bit of extra time diving into a tool. Some of the visualizations that you guys have seen today, such as being made with, for example, Flourish, or maybe the data gift maker, you can use these yourself, okay? You can do all of this yourself. You just have to spend some time practicing with it. Here at the Google News Lab, we've got about 18 or 19 teaching fellows around the world speaking in different languages, working with different news organizations to teach them in how to use these tools for journalists, okay? So if there's any questions that you guys have on the tools that we've spoken about today or on the tools that are on our website, then do feel free to get in touch with us. There is a support network for newsrooms. You can contact us at newslabsupport@google.com. And of course, you can always contact us if you want individual training for your newsroom, okay? So my email address is carolinescott@google.com. Definitely ping me an email if you've enjoyed what we've been speaking about today, and if you would like us to come into your newsroom and talk to you about some of the other tools that we teach within the Google News Lab, I'd be more than happy to do so, whether that's online or in the future in person. But do get in touch with us. You know, it's a really kind of friendly bunch at the Google News Initiative, and, you know, all the teaching fellows around the world within Google News Lab are very approachable on social media and on email as well. So do take advantage of all the training that we have to offer. Now, if anyone has any questions about anything that I've covered already today, please do write them in the chat and I will be able to answer them. But as I say, if you think of a question later on, or if you're watching this later on in the day and you're not watching this live, then please just send me an email and I'll get onto that. Oh, we've had people from Thailand. That's fantastic. India. Well, I hope you've all enjoyed the session today. And as I say, keep in touch. Let us know how you get on with all of these tools. And if you find even more tools that you find useful as a journalist, please let us know as well, because we can add to our collection and database, and we can tell you guys more about it. So thank you very much for joining today, guys. Go and enjoy the rest of your day, and I will speak to you all soon.